What if the secret to lasting wealth wasn't hidden in your bank account, but in the quiet moments of thankfulness that fill your everyday life? Many chase abundance through hustle and ambition, but few realize that true prosperity often begins with gratitude. Far from a fleeting emotion, thankfulness is a powerful force that can shift your perspective, dismantle scarcity, and open unforeseen pathways to success. If you're ready to discover how mastering the art of gratitude can unlock lasting wealth, this book will guide you step by step on that hidden path. Gratitude's Hidden Path: How Thankfulness Leads to Wealth, written and published by Intentional Prosperity. Chapter 1: The Wealth of Awareness. Have you ever wondered what might change if you started each day not by checking your bank account, but by checking your inner account of gratitude? Imagine walking through life as if every ordinary moment could unlock something extraordinary, a hidden abundance lying quietly beneath the surface, just waiting to be noticed. Most of us spend our days searching for signs of external wealth, chasing promotions, bigger homes, or the next best thing, only to find that true satisfaction keeps slipping just out of reach. The search seems never-ending, and the idea of enough feels like a moving target, always beyond the horizon no matter how hard we pursue it. It's easy to fall into this trap. Society teaches us to measure success in numbers and possessions, making us blind to the riches already scattered within the fabric of our lives. You may have felt the frustration of always wanting more, stuck in the cycle of comparison where everyone else seems just a bit better off, more fortunate, or happier. As days pass, an underlying sense of scarcity can quietly settle in, making us hyper-aware of what we lack rather than all that we have. Perhaps you have felt the stress of working hard but feeling that your achievements are never quite enough, or the pressure of looking at social media and seeing everyone else's highlight reels. This mental landscape, defined by what's missing, easily leads to impatience, overwhelm, and a deep longing for fulfillment that doesn't arrive, no matter how hard you try to fill the void with things outside yourself. But what if there is another way? What if, instead of searching for gold in distant lands, you look down to realize you've been standing on treasure all along? The hidden key here is awareness, the gentle, observant practice of truly seeing what is already present in your life. By awakening your awareness, you can begin to notice the overlooked gifts woven throughout your daily routine. The warmth of sunlight through a window, a smile from a stranger, the comfort of a hot meal, or even just the steady rhythm of your own breath. Awareness gives you the power to step outside the cycle of scarcity and into a state of gentle observation, where you start to recognize that your life is far richer than you once believed. This small but significant shift is the starting point of your journey toward gratitude-induced prosperity. When you consciously choose to awaken your awareness, you create space to experience thankfulness on the most foundational level. It is this dawning realization that plants the seed of transformation. Gradually, the world seems less threatening or empty and more full of promise and opportunity. As you become more aware, gratitude becomes less of a forced practice and more of a natural response to life as it unfolds. With each moment of noticed abundance, your sense of personal wealth grows, shaping not only your attitude, but the very energy you carry into the world. This core principle, training your mind to seek out and savor even the smallest blessings, will serve as the bedrock for all of the gratitude routines explored throughout this book. Just as wealth multiplies when wisely invested, your awareness of life's everyday gifts holds the power to spark a personal revolution, empowering you to meet every day with greater clarity, peace, and a heart open to real abundance. Building awareness is a skill that anyone can develop, and it begins with making a conscious commitment to notice your surroundings, your emotions, and the small blessings that make up your day. Start simply by dedicating a few quiet minutes each morning or evening to reflection. Find a calm space, slow your breath, and allow yourself to mentally scan your day. Ask yourself what you heard, saw, felt, or tasted that brought you a fleeting moment of pleasure or comfort, no matter how small. Perhaps it was the laughter of a child, the delicate pattern of sunlight on your kitchen floor, or just the satisfying taste of your breakfast tea. Allow these moments to linger in your mind, even if they seem insignificant at first. By returning to these details, you teach yourself to see the world with new eyes, eyes tuned to beauty and meaning. The next step is to gently challenge the rhythmic rush of everyday routine. Instead of letting the day blur into one seamless stretch of tasks, try to press pause as you transition from one activity to another. Whether you're walking from your kitchen to your desk, driving to work, or stepping outside to run an errand, view these short intervals as mini check-in points. In one real-life example, a school teacher started pausing for just 30 seconds between classes to look out the window and find a single thing in nature that sparked her curiosity. Over weeks, this tiny shift in awareness improved her mood and helped her greet each group of students with new energy. Simply asking, "What am I grateful for right now?" during these blank spaces in your schedule can recalibrate your entire mindset. Using reminders can also anchor your awakening. Place a small object on your desk or set a notification on your phone with a word like notice or grateful. A busy father kept a smooth stone in his pocket. Whenever his hand brushed against it, he remembered to look up, take a deep breath, and identify a positive moment, even if it was just appreciating the rhythm of his child's laughter or the comfort of a warm coat in winter. This simple, intentional act turned routine moments into treasures and shifted his attention from what was missing to what was present. When gratitude becomes your default response, you begin to move through life with less resistance. The benefits start compounding: a greater sense of calm, less frustration with setbacks, and more energy to invest in relationships and your greatest dreams. You will likely notice increased kindness toward yourself and others, which makes challenges feel more manageable and opportunities easier to spot. To put this into practice, give yourself a challenge for the next 7 days. Each night, jot down 3 things that caught your attention and made you feel thankful in even the smallest way. As the week passes, observe how your awareness expands and how your days feel richer, even if nothing big changes externally. With patience, you will see this shift take root in your daily life, ultimately fostering a sense of possibility and ease you may have never thought possible. As you master the wealth of awareness, you are ready to dive deeper into the places where scarcity can cloud your perception and shape your daily choices. In the next chapter, we will explore how to see through scarcity and transform the voice of not enough into one that recognizes the limitless abundance already available to you. Before moving on, remember to connect with Intentional Prosperity for more inspiration, and be sure to share your first experiences with awareness so this community can keep growing and learning together. Chapter 2: Seeing Through Scarcity. Imagine living each day as if there is never enough time, money, opportunities, love, or even acknowledgement. How might your choices, relationships, and dreams shift if this mindset was quietly guiding your every thought? You are not alone if you sometimes feel trapped by the idea that everything important is scarce and slipping away. In a world that endlessly broadcasts images of excess and perfection, the fear of missing out is a silent but powerful force. It pushes us to overwork, overspend, and overanalyze, hoping to catch up or catch hold of what we see others enjoying. When you are constantly exposed to messages of more, the underlying script becomes a soundtrack of deficiency, creating a baseline of anxiety and dissatisfaction no matter what you achieve or obtain. Many people find themselves caught in this web, believing that every small win is overshadowed by all they have yet to accomplish. It becomes normal to focus on competition and comparison, measuring your achievements against neighbors, colleagues, or strangers online. Even in moments of plenty, the question, "Is this enough?" can nag at the edges of your joy, introducing doubt where there should be celebration. Although there are natural ups and downs in life, the scarcity mindset makes the downs feel heavier and the ups less satisfying, tricking you into guarding your resources and fearing a future of lack. Over time, this thinking narrows your view of possibility and limits your willingness to take risks, collaborate, or even admit what you want most deeply. The good news is that scarcity is not a life sentence, but a lens you can consciously learn to change. The first step towards seeing through scarcity is to become aware of the moments when it surfaces in your thoughts and actions. Picture standing before a wall of frosted glass. On one side is your life as you know it, shaped by assumptions of limitation. On the other side is a world filtered through gratitude and openness, bright and full of choices. When you actively notice thoughts like, I can't afford this, there's never enough time, or I don't measure up, pause and question them. Is the scarcity real, or is it a habit of the mind, encouraged by years of cultural conditioning and personal setbacks? By pausing, observing the pattern, and gently challenging it, you begin to loosen its hold over you. The transformative solution is to practice the radical act of appreciating what is here now, no matter how small, and to remind yourself there is more possibility than your fears allow you to see. This shift does not require you to ignore real struggles or deny difficult circumstances. Instead, it grows from a willingness to also acknowledge examples, even brief ones, where you were met with support, found an unexpected gift, or discovered hidden reserves of strength. By deliberately changing your focus from lack to evidence of enoughness, you carve new neural pathways and start rewriting your internal story. Over time, this practice awakens curiosity, creativity, and resilience. You open yourself to new opportunities and begin to experience a swelling sense of hope that ripples through every area of your life. As you learn to see through scarcity, you lay the groundwork for attracting abundance, making way for gratitude to root even deeper within you. The journey of seeing through scarcity begins with a mindful pause whenever you recognize a familiar, limiting thought. Each time you hear yourself say, "There's not enough," try to stop and take a slow, conscious breath. In that brief pause, give yourself the permission to question this thought and gently turn your attention toward what is actually present in your life. A practical step is to keep a small notebook or even the Notes app on your phone and jot down one thing each day that signaled there was enough. A moment of laughter with a friend, a project you managed to finish, even a meal you enjoyed. If you find yourself thinking there is never enough time, look for instances where you completed a task with time to spare or noticed a stretch of unexpected free time, even if it was just 5 minutes between meetings. For someone struggling with the feeling that there is not enough money, the simple act of acknowledging being able to pay for groceries that week can become an entry point for gratitude to take root. An everyday example of shifting from scarcity to abundance comes from a small business owner who felt constant worry about revenue. She began the practice of each morning listing just one element that was stable or growing in her business. Some mornings, this was a single loyal customer who returned for repeat services. Other days, it was the fact that her business lights could stay on. Over the months, she realized her attention was shifting. She became more optimistic, decisions became less fear-driven, and her confidence grew. The subtle act of observing, instead of only reacting to her circumstances, unlocked more creative approaches and meaningful connections with clients, directly influencing her success. In your own life, this shift might start small, but each act of paying attention to enoughness steadily builds a new foundation. It is not about wishing struggles away, but about making room for a more generous, comforting worldview to take hold. Applying these steps brings about benefits that ripple outward. You will start to notice that your relationships improve as you no longer compare or compete, but find satisfaction in sharing what is good and abundant. Your ability to make decisions becomes clearer because your sense of inner calm reduces panic or second-guessing. Even your health may begin to improve as levels of gratitude and decreased stress influence your sleep, resilience, and daily energy. The more you witness evidence of enough all around you, the easier it becomes to meet challenges with hope and to embrace opportunities you once overlooked in the shadow of scarcity. To bring these ideas to practice, try this simple exercise. Each evening for the next 5 days, review your day and write down 3 instances, no matter how ordinary, where you recognize sufficiency in your life. Be patient and gentle with yourself at first. As you notice the transformation, trust that these small shifts will expand your sense of abundance with time. Celebrate every small win, knowing each step draws you further away from scarcity and closer to a fuller, richer life. In the chapters ahead, you will discover how the smallest moments of gratitude lead to powerful, lasting shifts. Next, prepare to explore how even small thanks can result in big changes as we uncover evidence that true transformation is made one step at a time. Remember to stay connected with the Intentional Prosperity community. Share your victories and insights, and help us create a collective vision of abundance by engaging with your feedback and stories. Chapter 3. Small Thanks. Big Shifts. Have you ever wondered if a single word or moment of thankfulness could be enough to tip the scales of your entire day? Imagine the ripple effect that one small, sincere act of gratitude might create, spreading outward from a quiet moment in your living room or a brief conversation at work, weaving invisible threads of positivity into places you never expected. In the chase for happiness and success, it often feels natural to hold out for life-changing events or grand gestures, believing only the big things can truly alter our path. We wait for big breakthroughs, promotions, or dramatic turnarounds before letting ourselves feel grateful. The overlooked truth is that transformative change is rarely sparked by rare, monumental occasions. More often, it is the collection of small, consistent, and meaningful acts of gratitude that unlock the most lasting and powerful shifts in our perspective and our lives. Still, it's common for people to dismiss the power of little gestures. When routine and responsibility crowd each hour, thankfulness can seem like an afterthought, something to practice when there's finally a reason to celebrate. Some days, the pace of commitments leaves little space for appreciation at all, especially when your worries are louder than your wins. Perhaps you have experienced moments when it feels easier to notice what's missing or stress about what's to come than to feel thankful for what's here. Modern life distracts with a never-ending to-do list and the constant pull of comparison, so that even good things pass by without a pause or a moment of acknowledgement. When you're waiting for something big to celebrate, gratitude becomes something distant, infrequent, and easy to neglect. But what if you could challenge that assumption right now and instead build your entire gratitude journey out of honest, ordinary, small thanks? The powerful solution is to intentionally pause and spotlight these often overlooked details, no matter how minor. Start by shifting your attention to the simple wonders woven into your everyday experience. The fleeting joy of a perfectly made cup of coffee, the comfort of a favorite song, the relief that comes from closing your eyes just for a moment in the afternoon. You don't need to wait for extraordinary circumstances to unfold and grant you a reason to be grateful. By changing the way you see daily events, you allow gratitude to bloom in the moments where life actually happens, in the simple, in the quiet, and in the routine. Embracing the practice of small thanks does more than brighten your attitude for a few seconds. The core idea is that small, repeated acts of gratitude compound, just like saved coins in a jar, to create a wealth of positivity over time. This new mindset opens up unexpected benefits. You'll likely find yourself more patient with others, better able to recognize the good even on tough days, and gradually more open to new opportunities. Small thanks allow you to anchor yourself against stress, to pause and reset your spirit, and to nurture a relationship with yourself and those around you that is based on appreciation rather than expectation. As you grow this tiny habit, you create a life where thankfulness is no longer something you chase, but something that is quietly and powerfully present every single day. To truly experience the power of small thanks, begin by building a daily gratitude pause into the natural rhythm of your life. Choose specific moments in your day, perhaps right after waking up, just before meals, or as you're about to sleep, and dedicate a few slow breaths to naming one detail you appreciate in that instant. This could be the sound of birds outside your window or the comfort of a worn, familiar chair. The important thing is consistency, not grandeur. As you identify and acknowledge these details, allow yourself to feel the simple goodness of what you're honoring without judgment or comparison. If your mind drifts toward bigger worries, gently redirect it to what is true and pleasant in the present. If you want to make this practice visible and tangible, keep a gratitude journal within easy reach or set a daily alarm with the word thanks. A real-world example comes from a young professional exhausted by work deadlines, whose only free moment was her morning commute on a crowded train. She began the habit of picking one thing to be thankful for each ride: a stranger's smile, a favorite song on her playlist, or even the feeling of being on her journey, regardless of how the day would unfold. By sending a quick text expressing her gratitude to a friend or jotting a few lines in her phone, she set a positive intention for the hours ahead. Over time, her outlook shifted, with Mondays becoming less daunting and regular days taking on a subtly warmer light. Practicing small thanks also transforms the relationships you nurture. In families, a parent might take a minute at dinner to appreciate a small act of kindness shared at home that day. At work, a genuine thank you for someone's help, no matter how routine, reinforces a culture of appreciation. These small actions remind everyone that their presence and their contributions matter. Another man in a demanding job began sending a quick thank you email to a different colleague each week, even for the simplest reason. Soon, he noticed his work environment becoming more collaborative and positive. Not only did others feel seen, but he too found himself more open to teamwork and less bogged down by office stress. As these tiny acknowledgments accumulate, the biggest benefit is not only the uplifted mood or improved relationships, but the gradual rewriting of your internal dialogue. The act of making thank you a regular feature in your daily script gently dissolves feelings of neglect or frustration before they can take root. Soon you will find energy and optimism growing in places where only fatigue or stagnation once lived. Now, start today by looking for your first moment of thanks. A cup of tea, a soft light, a supportive word, and write it down or say it aloud. As the days pass, trust in the quiet power of these tiny celebrations to reshape the landscape of your life. With every repetition, your mind becomes trained to seek the good, recalibrating your experience from scarcity toward presence and plenty. Next, prepare to discover the deeper impact that gratitude can have on your mind's patterns as we dive into the science and art of rewiring your grateful mind in the next chapter. And along the way, keep sharing your triumphs and obstacles, not just for your own growth, but to inspire and strengthen the intentional prosperity community. Stay connected, offer your thoughts and feedback, and support the cycle of gratitude with each interaction and reflection as we journey together. Chapter 4: Rewiring the Grateful Mind. What if the secret to sustained happiness and success wasn't more effort or achievement, but simply about changing the way your mind responds to everyday moments? Imagine waking up in the morning, and instead of immediately scanning for problems or stressors, your first instinct is to notice and savor something good, no matter how small. Many people find this idea intriguing, but it can feel distant or unrealistic. After all, if you have spent years stuck in negative patterns or habitual worries, simply choosing gratitude sounds easier said than done. Even the most optimistic intentions are easily derailed when stress, disappointment, or routine challenges invade your day, crowding out the space for sincere thankfulness. The truth is, you are not alone if you find yourself slipping back into criticism or worry, even after committing to a gratitude practice. Modern life conditions us to be alert for threats and shortcomings, training the brain to prioritize what's missing or wrong as a means of survival. Social media and advertising deepen these grooves, constantly encouraging us to compare and compete. Over time, your brain's pathways can become deeply carved around these routines of scarcity or self-doubt. You might have tried keeping a gratitude journal or reciting daily affirmations, only to revert to old habits during a bad day. The story is similar for so many who wish they could shift their thought patterns for good, but find that quick fixes never last. It's easy to feel frustrated or believe your mind's wiring just isn't built for deep, enduring gratitude. But there is hope, and the transformative solution is found not in a single act, but in the repeated practice of cultivating new mental habits, essentially retraining your brain. Scientific research reveals that your mind is far more plastic and adaptable than you may have ever believed. Just like learning a language or a musical instrument, creating new thought patterns around gratitude is possible for anyone and at any stage of life. Instead of expecting dramatic change overnight, Think of your brain as a network of trails that get deeper and easier to follow each time you use them. By intentionally and consistently directing your attention to moments of gratitude, you encourage your brain to recognize and prefer these positive experiences, even when difficulties arise. The core idea here is that gratitude, when practiced regularly and deliberately, becomes a powerful neural pathway, one strong enough to compete with old habits of negativity. With time, you begin to notice a change in your emotional climate. Stress seems more manageable, patience with yourself and others expands, and small pleasures shine brighter than before. The benefits reach further, influencing everything from sleep and resilience to creativity and even physical wellness. By investing in the practice of rewiring your mind toward gratitude, you're not only making yourself more present and content, but also paving the way for authentic growth and deeper connection with the world around you. This journey is not about perfection, but progress, a gradual transformation that, once set in motion, can carry you further than you ever imagined. You can begin rewiring your mind for gratitude with a series of intentional and repeated actions designed to shift daily habits. First, make a commitment to acknowledge one positive thing each morning, setting the tone before your mind has a chance to wander down familiar negative paths. This could be as simple as noticing the comfort of your bed, the freshness of morning air, or the opportunity of having a new day ahead of you. By intentionally pausing for gratitude at the very start of each day, you prime your thoughts for positivity and lay the first track for change. Building on this, set reminder points throughout your day, maybe during lunch, after a meeting, or while waiting in line, to pause and identify one new thing you might be thankful for at that moment. One way to make this habit stick is to create physical or visual cues in your environment. Place a meaningful object on your desk, or set a daily timer with a short question like, "What went right today?" For instance, a university student struggling with anxious, negative thinking decorated her planner with small stickers. Each time she noticed a sticker, she forced herself to write one sentence about something good, no matter how stressful the day. Over time, she saw a clear shift. Her anxiety gradually lessened, and her ability to cope with academic pressures improved. Another scenario might be a busy professional who found it hard to break free from critical self-talk. He started a nightly gratitude text exchange with a close friend. Each evening, they sent each other two things that made them grateful. Not only did this help form a new routine, but it also strengthened their connection and made challenges feel more manageable. Transformations often start as subtle as a change in mood at the end of the week, or the ability to face everyday setbacks with a little more calm and patience. By making these small efforts regular, your brain's pathways grow stronger, and eventually you find yourself turning to gratitude naturally, even when pressured, tired, or disappointed. Over time, consistent gratitude practice is linked to better physical health, including lower stress, improved sleep, and stronger immune responses. As your mind switches its focus from what is lacking to what is abundant, old cycles of negativity lose their hold, opening space for clearer thinking, resourcefulness, and increased joy. To set this transformation in motion, give yourself 7 days to actively pursue conscious gratitude moments 3 times each day. In the morning, at a midday pause, and before sleep, take a breath, find one thing to appreciate, and record it by writing it down, saying it aloud, or sharing it with someone you trust. At the end of the week, reflect on your experiences. Notice any shifts in your mood, thinking, or reactions to challenges. These early signs of change will reinforce your confidence and motivate you to keep moving forward. You have now begun a powerful process of reshaping your inner narrative, and with consistency, deeper gratitude becomes your new normal. In the next chapter, we will address how letting go of entitlement clears even more space for appreciation to thrive and removes the blocks that prevent deeper satisfaction. Until then, stay inspired by interacting with the Intentional Prosperity community. Share your successes, observations, and tips, and contribute to an ongoing movement toward gratitude-fueled growth. Chapter 5. Letting Go of Entitlement. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, "I deserve better," or wondered why certain good things seem to be owed to you while others are frustratingly out of reach? Imagine living each day as if the world naturally owed you happiness, success, or support, and seeing every unmet expectation as a personal slight or setback. While it might feel empowering at first to expect the best or to believe in your own worth, the silent weight of entitlement can slowly erode genuine joy and gratitude without you even realizing it. This mindset, though comforting in some moments, often leads to disappointment and frustration, replacing thankfulness with resentment and closing off the heart to everyday abundance. Many people fall into the subtle trap of entitlement at some point in life. Perhaps you've worked tirelessly and felt overlooked for a promotion, or you've invested in a relationship that didn't give you what you hoped for in return. Maybe you've encountered delays, setbacks, or simple acts of unfairness, and instead of recognizing challenge as a shared human experience, you found bitterness or impatience rising inside you. Society itself doesn't help. Messages everywhere tell us to pursue more and to demand our due, making contentment seem like a concession rather than a victory. Entitlement creeps into our thinking when it becomes normal to compare what others have to what we lack, or when disappointments are met by anger at the universe instead of acceptance or curiosity. If left unchecked, these patterns cloud our vision and keep us from noticing the gifts that continuously arrive, both expected and unexpected. But the good news is that there is a gentle, powerful solution. Let go of entitlement, and instead cultivate a mindset of acceptance and open-hearted gratitude. This does not mean surrendering your goals, aspirations, or standards. Rather, it asks you to release the rigid expectation that life must always conform to your wants and timetables. When you practice letting go of entitlement, you create space for humility, resilience, and genuine appreciation to flourish. You move from seeing blessings as owed to seeing them as precious, freely given opportunities for joy, and this single shift expands your perspective immeasurably. The heart of this solution is to replace thoughts of "I should have" or "I deserve" with a new posture that welcomes whatever comes, whether planned, surprising, disappointing, or delightful. Each day becomes an adventure in noticing what is, instead of being frustrated by what isn't. The benefits are profound and immediate. Your emotional burdens become lighter, small setbacks no longer steal so much happiness, and successes feel richer and more thoroughly earned. This shift restores gratitude to its natural place, making it an instinctive response to life rather than a forced exercise. As you release the grasp on what you think you are owed, you uncover a far deeper reservoir of thankfulness within yourself, one that draws strength from acceptance, humility, and a renewed sense of wonder about what the new day may bring. Letting go of entitlement begins with self-awareness and small, deliberate choices that gradually reshape your responses to life's challenges and blessings. The first step is to notice when feelings of "I deserve" or "this should be mine" arise. Each time you spot one of these thoughts, resist the urge to judge yourself. Instead, simply acknowledge it as a habit that doesn't need to define you moving forward. Challenge yourself gently to let go of the expectation and investigate what prompted it. Ask, "What am I holding on to?" Or is there another way to perceive this moment? By becoming more aware of your inner dialogue, you gain the freedom to replace old reactions with conscious acceptance. Once you recognize those moments, practice reframing them. For example, if you experience disappointment at work because you were not chosen for a coveted opportunity, shift your focus from what you believe you were owed to the gifts that remain. The new skill you developed while trying, the connections you made, or the time you reclaimed for other pursuits. In one real-life scenario, a young artist found herself resentful that another received the praise she longed for. Instead of nursing the wound, she chose to congratulate her peer, then listed all she'd gained through the experience itself: her progress, the courage to share her work, and the supportive friendships built along the way. Over time, her resentment faded as pride in her growth and gratitude for every part of her journey expanded. Gratitude grows quickest in the soil of humble acceptance. Build the simple habit of expressing thanks for what is, even on days when life does not unfold as you wish. When faced with a stalled plan or unexpected challenge, pause and direct your attention toward 3 things in your life that are working or moments from your day that went smoothly. This conscious redirection, repeated regularly, forms a strong foundation of appreciation and resilience. In families, for instance, parents who notice and thank their children for small efforts, even if chores are left unfinished, cultivate warmth and cooperation while lowering the tension of unmet expectations. At work, leaders who publicly recognize team members for incremental progress foster a culture of progress, optimism, and collaboration. The rewards of releasing entitlement are felt in waves. As you release the weight of what you think you are owed, your heart is lighter and your mind becomes more receptive to possibility, kindness, and genuine connection. You respond to setbacks with resilience, moments of joy multiply, and the wins, big or small, feel truly satisfying. The freedom gained is powerful. Relationships improve, peace replaces agitation, and gratitude begins to come unbidden, even during difficulties. To integrate these teachings, try a daily practice for the next week. At the end of each day, reflect and write down one instance where you caught yourself expecting something and consciously let it go. Then, add a note of gratitude for what you received, regardless of how events actually unfolded. Over 7 days, notice the shift in your emotional climate, appreciate it, and let it encourage you to keep moving forward on this journey. Ahead lies the opportunity to anchor daily appreciation and make gratitude more manageable and real, no matter what comes. Remember to share your breakthrough moments and feedback with the Intentional Prosperity community to inspire others on this shared path and help us all grow together. Chapter 6: Anchoring Daily Appreciation. What if the key to consistent happiness and quiet confidence wasn't some dramatic life change, but rather a string of small moments mindful enough to notice, capture, and hold? Picture yourself starting and ending each day with solid ground beneath your feet, the anchor being simple, genuine appreciation for what surrounds you, no matter what storms may come. Most people crave a sense of stability, seeking routines and habits that bring comfort in life's chaos. Yet few realize that appreciation, when made daily and deliberate, can become their most reliable anchor. Too often, gratitude feels like it floats in and out at random, appearing only when times are good, while quickly disappearing at the first hint of challenge or stress. Life's busy pace and constant distractions make steady gratitude seem unnatural or fleeting. Mornings might start with good intentions, but work deadlines, traffic jams, and spilled coffee quickly overshadow whatever positive notes you manage to find. At night, fatigue lingers and the mind replays problems rather than victories, leaving little energy for looking back with appreciation. Many people struggle to keep any sort of daily gratitude practice. They might begin with a journal or app, hoping the habit will stick, only to abandon it once routine challenges return. The main obstacle is consistency. Appreciation comes easily in rewarding moments, but fades quickly when real life steps in with interruptions, disappointments, or new worries. This unevenness can make your relationship with gratitude feel unreliable, unable to support you when you need it most. But consider a transformative shift. Instead of waiting for gratitude to arrive unexpectedly, you can anchor it into your life with intentional daily actions, a practice that holds steady through both good times and hard ones. Think of appreciation as an anchor you drop every day to steady your mind and spirit amidst unpredictability. By weaving small recognition of good things into set points throughout your routine, you ground your perspective and build an unbreakable habit that storms can't easily uproot. The best part is, anchoring daily appreciation doesn't require grand gestures or unrealistic expectations. Instead, it springs from brief moments, morning breaths, afternoon pauses, a look back before bed, where you deliberately recognize something of value, no matter how your day has unfolded. The core idea here is that daily anchors for appreciation serve to retrain your focus, helping gratitude become second nature instead of an occasional visitor. As this approach roots itself, you'll notice you're quicker to see positives during stress, recover faster from setbacks, and greet ordinary days with deeper calm. Over time, these steady anchors will knit a foundation for enduring happiness. Your sense of fulfillment grows less dependent on circumstances, and your appreciation starts to shape your relationships, self-talk, and resilience. Through even the simplest everyday experiences, you gain a lifeline, a steadying force that keeps you returning, again and again, to the abundant ground beneath your feet. To anchor daily appreciation in your life, set purposeful moments within your routine that serve as consistent reminders to reflect. The most effective anchors are linked to activities you already do every day, so you can tie the act of gratitude to existing habits without extra strain. To begin, pick 2 specific times in your day, such as just after you brush your teeth in the morning and right before turning off your lights at night. At each of these anchor points, pause for a simple moment of reflection. Recall one detail, person, or experience you're grateful for at that point in the day. These details don't need to be grand or unique. Often, repeated gratitude for the same comforting ritual or person deepens your sense of appreciation. Think about a real example of someone who used these anchors to transform a chaotic schedule into a haven of gratitude. A working parent used her morning commute as her first gratitude anchor, turning off the radio to spend those moments in silence, scanning her mind for something positive from the previous night or something to look forward to. Her second anchor fell in the kitchen as she washed dinner dishes, prompting her to reflect on what had brought her joy or relief during the day. Initially, the moments felt awkward or forced, but within a few weeks they became her mental touchstones, centering her even on hectic days and subtly lifting her resilience to daily stress. To deepen this routine, try adding a physical reminder at each anchor point, a favorite mug by the bathroom sink, or a note taped to your nightstand, each acting as a gentle nudge to practice appreciation without overthinking it. Another person used a small, smooth stone placed beside her toothbrush as a tactile memory cue. Whenever her mind wandered to stress or anxiety during those moments, she'd redirect her thoughts to one thing she could be grateful for, even if it was as simple as the peaceful quiet of the room. These modest practices served as lifelines during hard times, steadying her mood and making it easier to face unexpected challenges. Anchoring gratitude in your daily routine offers powerful rewards. You'll likely find your overall mood improving, with challenging moments losing their potency as you automatically pivot towards what's good or steady. Friendships, family dynamics, and even interactions with strangers may start to shift, as consistent appreciation has a ripple effect, changing how you listen, speak, and perceive those around you. With time, these anchors become an unshakable part of your days, working quietly to lower stress, build patience, and nurture hope regardless of outside circumstances. Take on the challenge to select 2 anchor points in your daily routine for the next 7 days. Set your reminder objects or simply make a note and see how showing up at these same moments each day with a grateful heart begins to change your outlook. Record what you notice, no matter how subtle, and celebrate your persistence as the foundation for continuous, lasting joy. As you move forward, get ready to explore how gratitude sustains us even through life's toughest moments in the next chapter, where you'll learn to transform adversity into new opportunities for growth and appreciation. Remember to keep in touch with the Intentional Prosperity community, share your journey, encourage others with your story, and suggest ways this path could better support you as we all continue on together. Chapter 7: Gratitude in Tough Times. Have you ever faced a challenge so overwhelming that gratitude seemed not only impossible, but almost absurd? Imagine standing at the center of a storm. Maybe you're dealing with the loss of a job, a painful relationship ending, or an unexpected health crisis. And while others talk about finding the silver lining, you wonder how you could possibly feel thankful in the face of so much pain. During these periods, it's entirely normal to feel as though gratitude is out of reach, reserved for lives less bruised by hardship or disappointment. Yet paradoxically, these are often the very moments when the practice of gratitude can offer the greatest transformation, not by ignoring the reality of pain, but by helping us endure and grow within it. We all know what it feels like to hit rough patches, facing loss or uncertainty and watching our usual optimism fade. In these difficult seasons, the usual strategies we lean on might fail us. The support of others may fall short or seem scarce, and positive thinking can feel like empty advice. When you are struggling, even the simplest gratitude habit can become neglected. A journal might gather dust on your nightstand while negative thoughts take over each morning before you even rise from bed. The world may seem unfair, and focusing on what is going well feels unnatural when troubles are immediate and raw. This form of emotional tunnel vision adds to the pain, amplifying loss and keeping us stuck in cycles of hopelessness or bitterness that limit our perspective just when we need new strength and courage the most. Here is the promise and the invitation. Instead of forcing yourself to be grateful for your sorrows or pretending everything is fine, you can grow your resilience by finding space for gratitude, even in dark times. The transformative solution is not about denying pain, but rather about seeking out and naming life's small, remaining gifts, even when life feels heavy. This might look like noticing a gentle act from a friend, a moment of quiet, or the simple comfort of a warm meal at the end of a long day. You learn to let gratitude and grief sit side by side, each honoring a different piece of your experience. In doing so, gratitude becomes less of a reward for having it easy, and more of an essential survival tool, helping you to spot tiny sparks of hope, restore lost connections, and reframe what's possible. At the heart of this perspective is the understanding that growing grateful in tough times is an act of quiet strength, not passive acceptance or denial. It allows you to reclaim control, resetting your emotional compass amid chaos. Even the smallest moments of thankfulness, found and nurtured deliberately, can stitch together hope and courage, turning rough days into shaping forces rather than obstacles. By adopting this skill, you open the door to healing, resilience, and gradual rediscovery of joy, setting in motion a deeply personal process of renewal that will carry you through not only darkness, but into the light again. When life becomes difficult, creating a practice of gratitude requires gentleness and honesty. Begin by giving yourself permission to acknowledge pain and struggle without rushing to cover it up. The first step is simply to pause each day, even briefly, and ask, what is one thing, no matter how small, that brings me comfort or relief right now? In a season of hardship, this answer might look different each time. Perhaps the kindness of a friend who checks in, the feeling of cool air after a storm, or the quiet satisfaction of completing a hard task. By focusing on the present and granting yourself space to notice something good, your mind starts to shift, making room for glimmers of hope among the challenges. Make this practice concrete by dedicating time each day for a gratitude check-in. For example, a woman who lost her job during an economic downturn stopped expecting herself to feel upbeat. Instead, she decided that every night before bed, she would list a single moment of peace or kindness she had experienced that day. Some evenings, her list included nothing more than the hot cup of tea she sipped in her apartment while reading. What changed was her outlook. She slowly saw that not all was lost, that good things still existed alongside her difficulties. Similarly, a man going through a divorce created a ritual of writing a brief thank you note to himself for handling one task or conversation with grace that day. These small acknowledgments guided him through grief, eventually helping him reconnect with family and friends in ways that felt healing and genuine. Alongside noticing positive moments, another step is to ask for help or accept support as part of your gratitude journey. Allowing yourself to receive compassion from others can itself be a source of thankfulness, reminding you that you are not facing troubles alone. When someone offers support, try to receive it without guilt or self-judgment, and let yourself feel genuine appreciation for their presence. If your circle is small, even the help of a stranger or a source of inspiration from a book can be included in your gratitude reflections. Accepting the care of others strengthens bonds and helps lift some burdens, restoring the feeling that life, though hard, is still connected and supportive. The result of practicing gratitude during tough times is long-lasting transformation that extends far beyond moments of crisis. The immediate benefits may be subtle at first: a steadier heartbeat, a brief return of hope, or a lighter step during the day. But over time, you'll find your resilience growing and your outlook softening, so that it becomes easier to meet challenges with less fear and more resourcefulness. Gratitude acts like a lifeline, reconnecting you with life's beauty as you rebuild your strength. If you are currently struggling, give yourself this challenge for the next 7 days. Each night, write down the smallest thing that eased your burden during the day, no matter how humble. Keeping this record is not about ignoring difficulties, but about allowing hope to emerge, little by little, through your honest attention. As this simple habit becomes part of your healing, you may notice your capacity for endurance, connection, and peace quietly growing. As you prepare to move forward, the next chapter explores how to transform a sense of lack or deprivation into a lasting legacy by seeing the potential for impact and meaning even in times when resources appear limited. Remember to stay engaged with the Intentional Prosperity community, share your milestones, support one another through stories, and contribute your insights to help us all grow stronger, no matter what storms may arise. Chapter 8: Turning Lack into Legacy. What if the places where you feel most limited, money, time, resources, recognition, carry the seeds of your most lasting impact? Envision for a moment that your deepest sense of lack could become, with a change in perspective, the very soil in which your greatest gifts to others and to yourself begin to grow. In a world so focused on having more and achieving bigger, many people quietly battle feelings of insufficiency, believing their potential is capped by what they don't have. We are conditioned to view lack as a weakness, a problem to solve, or a reason to hold back. Too often, people shy away from their ambitions, restrict their generosity, or silence their dreams out of a simple sense of not enough. This struggle with perceived limitation is deeply relatable. It shows up when you hesitate to offer help because your finances feel tight, when you put off starting a project out of self-doubt about your experience, or when you dismiss the idea that your story is worth sharing because you think you haven't achieved enough. Scarcity thinking can settle quietly into routines. Sometimes you notice it as an ache. Sometimes you hardly realize it's shaping your entire future. Holding tightly to what little you believe you have, you may find yourself protecting, preserving, or hiding parts of yourself, convinced that you have little, so you can only give little and must wait for the day when you finally have enough to make a real difference. But what if a breakthrough was possible right here, today, within your self-perceived limitations? The transformative solution is to consciously reframe your understanding of lack. Instead of treating lack as a life sentence, you can make the brave choice to see it as an invitation to creativity, connection, and lasting contribution. Often, true legacy is not built from abundance, but from learning how to create value out of limited resources, to see opportunities others overlook, and to share what you do have, however small. This type of shift does not ignore real challenges, but calls upon your resourcefulness and inspires you to act despite them. At the heart of this perspective is a core idea. When you refuse to let lack define your capacity to give, you transform both yourself and your influence on the world around you. Small acts born from simple resources carry unexpected power, like planting a tiny seed in poor soil that later grows into a strong, sheltering tree. By sharing your story, kindness, effort, or wisdom, even when you feel you have little, you open the door to connection and inspire others to discover their own agency. Rather than being an endpoint, each limitation you face can become the starting place for personal transformation and a legacy of courage and generosity. Embracing this view not only frees you from the restrictive grip of scarcity, but positions you to find meaning even in hardship, and to build something for others and yourself that will last far beyond temporary circumstances. Transforming your sense of lack into legacy begins with noticing and accepting where scarcity lives in your own life. Take time to write down the areas where you feel limited, whether it's money, confidence, time, support, or recognition. Be gentle and honest as you do this. Acknowledgement is the first step toward change. Next, reframe these areas not as dead ends, but as places of creative potential. For each one, ask yourself, how might I make a difference with exactly what I have? Or who could benefit from even a small gesture of what I do possess? This mindset unlocks a resource you always control, the ability to give, share, and inspire, no matter your circumstances. The next actionable step is to choose one small way to contribute or connect each day, especially in the area where scarcity feels strongest. For example, a woman who struggled with feelings of financial lack made it her goal to offer encouragement and skilled support to friends pursuing their passions, even when she could not contribute money. By sharing ideas and celebrating their wins, she saw her own sense of purpose increase and friendship deepen. Another example comes from a man unsure of his professional experience. Instead of holding on to his doubts, he began volunteering at a local community center, discovering that his willingness to listen and offer modest advice made a real impact on people starting from scratch. Both found that legacy is less about the size of a gift and more about the spirit and consistency with which it is given. To further shift into this legacy-building mindset, pursue a habit of capturing and sharing small stories of gratitude and positive impact, even if they seem insignificant. Some people keep a simple journal of small wins, others start thank you notes or record conversations with friends and family about moments where something given or received carried unexpected value. Each act reinforces your understanding that meaning comes from engagement, not abundance. In the process, you'll start to notice doors opening where none seemed possible before. Scarcity loses its power to limit your actions, and a sense of capability and connection grows strong. As you continue this journey, the effects are far-reaching. Not only do you cultivate deeper personal resilience, but you also invite others into a cycle of generosity. Relationships feel richer, new opportunities appear, and your own outlook grows increasingly hopeful. Most importantly, you build a legacy rooted in participation and authenticity, one that speaks louder over time than any single achievement or big success. It's a legacy formed not by what you started with, but what you did, gave, and shared along the way. To put these ideas to work, pick one perceived area of limitation this week and act on it. Offer a gesture, a skill, or a story to someone who could benefit, and reflect on what happens within you as much as what happens around you. Record your experience and repeat the process in different forms over the coming days. Legacy grows in this soil of regular, intentional action. Looking ahead, the next chapter will reveal how gratitude enriches our sense of community and deepens bonds, the true currency of connection. Until then, stay engaged with the intentional prosperity community and share your small wins and breakthroughs, helping everyone realize that every step, however modest, can shape a more abundant future together. Chapter 9, The Currency of Connection. What if the real measure of wealth was not how much you own or accomplish, but the genuine relationships you cultivate along the journey? Imagine a world where every act of gratitude you express or receive could strengthen the bonds between people in ways that multiplied true abundance. In moments of success or struggle, connection often stands as the one force that shapes how secure, motivated, and fulfilled we feel. Yet so many people find themselves isolated by busy schedules, digital distractions, or the fear that expressing vulnerability and appreciation might leave them open to disappointment or rejection. It's a common modern pain point, to be surrounded by many and known by few, always in touch yet seldom deeply connected. In this era of instant messaging and digital profiles, true connection can feel elusive, even as communication appears easier than ever. Maybe you have felt the sting of being misunderstood in a hurried conversation, or wished you could say thank you more often, but worried it might come off as awkward or unnecessary. Many recognize that something vital is missing in their interactions: depth, trust, and a sense that someone truly sees and values them. On both sides of any exchange, people often worry that they're not doing enough to tend to the relationships that matter. Even families or close friends can fall out of the habit of regular, heartfelt gratitude, instead letting routine, silence, or stress create distance over time. Here's where you can choose differently and transform the way you experience both giving and receiving. Gratitude is more than a private feeling. It is a powerful building block in the architecture of any community. When you deliberately weave appreciation into your interactions, you create a rich tapestry of trust and support, multiplying the sense of belonging, not just for yourself, but for every life you touch. Think of gratitude as a currency that increases in value each time it is shared. With every thanks given out loud, you make another person feel seen and valued, strengthening invisible bonds on which all true abundance is built. The core idea at the heart of this practice is simple. Gratitude, when regularly expressed, acts as a bridge between people, deepening the roots of trust and opening the door to authentic collaboration, mutual understanding, and reciprocity. When you recognize someone's kindness, contribution, or effort, however small, they are more likely to open up, offer support in return, and feel a renewed sense of meaning in what they do. For yourself, making gratitude a way of relating not only banishes loneliness but inspires you to invest genuinely in others without keeping score. Nurturing these habits transforms workplaces, families, and friendships by making everyone involved feel valued, motivated, and more connected to a sense of community wealth. Ultimately, learning to spend the currency of gratitude freely is an open invitation to experience the true richness of human connection, something no possession or achievement can ever replace. To turn gratitude into an everyday currency for deeper connection, begin by setting an intention to offer genuine appreciation to those around you. Start small by selecting one person each day, a coworker, family member, friend, or even a stranger, and recognize something about them that you genuinely value. You may choose to write a kind note, make a phone call, or simply pause to say thank you in person for a specific gesture or quality. Don't worry about making it eloquent. Authenticity matters far more than perfection. If you feel awkward at first, remind yourself that the point is not to impress, but to open the door to deeper mutual respect and trust. In practical terms, you could adopt a gratitude habit much like the members of a family who, noticing their conversations had gotten routine and superficial, began to end every dinner with each person naming something, small or large, that they appreciated from the day. Within just a few evenings, laughter increased, conversations slowed, and individual members felt more supported and recognized. In a workplace context, a manager chose to open each weekly meeting by highlighting contributions from various team members, not only thanking them, but also stating the impact of their efforts. This sparked new enthusiasm and collaboration, transforming the office climate from transactional to genuinely caring. Even in your local community, taking the time to thank a cashier by name or acknowledge a neighbor's kindness can turn everyday encounters into seeds for lasting connection. Embracing gratitude as a connecting tool has profound ripple effects. You'll notice that the quality of your interactions improves as barriers drop and authentic dialogue flourishes. When others feel appreciated, they naturally want to reciprocate and invest more deeply in the relationship, closing the loop of trust and goodwill. You may experience greater loyalty, clearer communication, and even support during tough times. This does more than brighten a single moment. It plants the roots for a robust, meaningful network that you can lean on and enjoy. Over time, your personal and professional world will feel less lonely and more cooperative, imbued with a shared spirit of optimism and respect. To apply these insights, challenge yourself for the next week to make gratitude your daily currency. Each day, pick someone you interact with and offer sincere thanks for something specific. Reflect nightly on how these exchanges affect your mood and the responses you receive. Notice any shifts in tone, openness, or teamwork, and write down your progress. Keep building on these small acts until expressing gratitude becomes as natural to you as any everyday habit. Stay inspired and remember that every thank you you share makes the world a little more connected and a lot richer. As you continue, the next chapter will explore how you can give without expectation and experience the abundance that flows from truly selfless generosity. For more guidance and encouragement, be sure to stay connected with the Intentional Prosperity community. Share your stories, offer feedback, and support others on their journey to a more abundant, fulfilling life. Chapter 10. Giving Without Expectation. Have you ever wondered what might happen if you gave from your heart, asking nothing in return? No praise, no recognition, no favor owed back to you. Imagine offering your time, resources, or kindness simply because you want to, not because you expect the universe or another person to balance the scales. At first glance, giving without expectation seems noble and perhaps unrealistic. In reality, the pressure to keep a mental scoreboard runs through much of everyday life. Whether in friendships, family, or work, people often keep subtle tabs on acts of help, hoping for acknowledgement or some form of equal exchange. When that appreciation or payback is absent, disappointment and resentment may quietly surface, clouding the joy of both giving and receiving. This pattern is deeply human. Most of us dream of being seen and valued, and it's natural to feel rewarded when our efforts are recognized. Yet, this attachment to outcomes and reciprocation can limit generosity's growth in your life. When you hesitate to offer support because you fear it won't be reciprocated, or pull back from giving thanks to someone who never acknowledges your kindness, opportunities for deeper connection and unexpected abundance are lost. Maybe you've experienced a time when your hard work at your job went unnoticed, or the help you offered a friend never made its way back to you. Perhaps you sent a message of encouragement and heard nothing in return, prompting regret or the resolve not to give so freely again. These small moments, even when easy to shrug off, may add up, making you guarded, skeptical, or sparse in the gifts of energy, grace, and gratitude you extend to others. The transformative solution lies in embracing the principle of true generosity, offering your time, presence, or assistance without needing recognition, repayment, or proof that your effort sparked visible results. Giving without expectation is more than a social nicety. It's a mindset and practice that releases you from disappointment and keeps your spirit open, receptive, and resilient. When you let go of needing validation, you discover unexpected freedom and abundance, as every act of kindness becomes a source of satisfaction in itself. The motivation is no longer external reward, but intrinsic joy. Your life is shaped not by what you receive back, but by what you nurture and share from within. Anchoring your generosity to this principle brings profound benefits. The energy you once spent tracking what's fair is freed up for new ideas, relationships, and creative growth. Disappointments lose their sting, and your sense of contentment expands independent of anyone else's actions. As you align your giving with your values rather than opinions or expectations of others, you position yourself for true, continuous abundance. In both subtle and powerful ways, you redraw your definition of wealth, making giving and gratitude an endless, self-renewing resource that elevates every part of your life. To cultivate the art of giving without expectation, start by consciously choosing one small way each day to help, encourage, or support someone, without seeking acknowledgement or waiting for anything in return. Begin with simple gestures, such as offering a genuine compliment, holding the door for a stranger, or sharing knowledge with a colleague who is struggling. If you notice yourself hoping for praise, simply acknowledge this feeling without judgment and refocus your intention on the act itself. The goal is to move your attention from the outcome back to the present moment, finding purpose and joy in giving rather than its possible rewards. You might also set the stage for this transformation by writing a brief gratitude note to someone you appreciate, not worrying about whether they will say thank you or even respond. If you help a neighbor move or cook a meal for a friend, remind yourself beforehand that the act is complete simply because it was done freely and from the heart. A clear example is that of a woman who began volunteering at a local shelter. When her efforts weren't always acknowledged, she shifted her perspective from expecting thanks to noticing how her time and energy made a difference for the people she was serving. Rather than feeling undervalued, she developed deeper fulfillment, knowing she was aligned with her values, and this satisfaction began to color other areas of her life. Another example is a father who drove his children's classmates to after-school events for months without expecting gratitude from other families. Over time, he found a warmth and contentment in his generosity that replaced old frustration with steady pride in his quiet contribution. Giving without expectation transforms your energy and outlook. When you detach from waiting for others to respond as you hope, your actions become lighter and more frequent. Your relationships become less transactional and more authentic, strengthened by trust and patience. You become less reactive to disappointments and more resourceful during setbacks. experiencing a sense of inner abundance that cannot be drained by misunderstanding or lack of appreciation. By focusing instead on what you can offer each day, you rewrite your narrative, turning giving and gratitude into living, breathing, everyday practices. If you're ready to put this into practice, give yourself a 7-day challenge. Choose one person or situation each day where you will act with sincerity and without expectation, whether it's making a donation, sharing your expertise, performing an anonymous good deed, or simply listening to someone in need. At the end of each day, reflect on how your spirit and perspective shift in the absence of anticipated return. Track any changes in your sense of happiness, self-respect, or lightness. Notice if life starts to feel more abundant and less dependent on others' reactions as you settle into the habit of unconditional giving. Looking forward, the next chapter will show you how living with a mindset aimed at abundance, where giving and receiving continually fuel one another, leads to new forms of prosperity in every aspect of life. Let your experience of generosity strengthen your commitment, and as you move ahead, connect with the Intentional Prosperity community. Share insights from your giving journey, suggest topics for our ongoing exploration, and encourage others in discovering how the cycle of abundance always begins with authentic action from the heart. Chapter 11: Abundance Attracts Abundance. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to attract good fortune, generosity, or opportunities wherever they go, as if abundance naturally gravitates toward them? Imagine living in a way where your attitude alone acts as a magnet, drawing more positivity, support, and resources into your life. It may sound mystical at first, but there's a genuine, empowering truth beneath the surface. The energy you give to the world, in thought, feeling, and action, really does have a way of returning to you, often multiplied. Yet, it's also common to feel blocked from this sense of flow, especially when faced with the pressures of limited time, strained finances, or relentless setbacks. During these periods, belief in abundance can feel like a naive luxury you can't afford. Many people struggle under the weight of scarcity thinking. You might catch yourself expecting things to go wrong, downplaying your achievements, or brushing off compliments because you've internalized the message that good things are rare and temporary. Cultural messages reinforce this by encouraging a struggle mindset, subtly hinting that resources are finite and only the most aggressive or lucky will ever get ahead. Under such conditions, people become hesitant to put themselves forward, less willing to share their talents or help others, and unfortunately, more focused on competition than collaboration. This atmosphere of guardedness cuts off the very cycles of giving and gratitude that truly foster abundance. As a result, your world can shrink, and opportunities that might have blossomed pass by unnoticed, simply because the door of possibility was closed long before they arrived. The transformative solution is found in adopting and maintaining an attitude of abundance, regardless of your present circumstances. This doesn't mean you have to ignore real challenges or deny moments of fear. Instead, it calls for an intentional practice, choosing to recognize what's working, amplifying your acts of generosity, and affirming, through words and actions, that there is enough good to go around. Abundance is not defined by a bank balance, but by a mindset, one that celebrates what you have, shares it freely, and anticipates that positive energy will cycle back into your life, often from unforeseen directions. The very core of this approach is faith in plenty, which creates an internal openness to receive and to give. As you lean into this belief, you begin to act with greater courage, to stretch the limits of what you think possible, and to see opportunities where there were once just obstacles. People are naturally drawn to those with abundant spirits, sensing their willingness to collaborate, support, and inspire. In daily life, this creates an upward spiral. Acts of friendliness return as new connections, shared know-how produces unexpected results, and even small risks are rewarded with personal or professional gains. The practice of welcoming abundance transforms your outlook and actions alike, lighting a clear path toward a richer and more fulfilling life. Embracing an abundance mindset requires daily commitment and the courage to challenge old patterns. To make this shift, start by consistently naming and appreciating the things that go well, no matter how small. Each morning, before reaching for your phone or jumping into to-do lists, pause to count 3 good things present in your life: a fresh cup of tea, the comfort of your home, or a message from someone you care about. Mentally express thanks for these gifts and set an intention to seek more evidence of abundance as you go about your day. As challenges appear, remind yourself that there are always possibilities hiding within difficulties, and practice saying, "There's enough. I have enough. I am enough." This simple refrain interrupts old scarcity thinking and keeps your focus open to growth and generosity. The next action is to look for opportunities to expand the cycle of abundance by giving freely, even in small ways. Picture a retiree who, unsure of how to stay engaged after a career spent working, started offering free mentoring sessions for young professionals in her community. Through sharing her knowledge, she found new friendships, revived her sense of purpose, and unexpectedly received valuable insights and job leads for her own family in return. Or consider an entrepreneur launching a project with limited funds who opted to collaborate and credit volunteers for their creativity rather than obsess over what she couldn't offer financially. The team, inspired by her generous spirit, gave back even more, leading to greater success than she had first imagined. In both cases, acting from a mindset of plenty lit the path for more opportunities, resources, and fulfillment to flow back to them. To anchor abundance in everyday living, also begin welcoming good things when they do come your way. Often people hesitate to accept praise, support, or new connections, brushing them off or downplaying their importance. Make a conscious choice to accept compliments graciously, to say yes to unexpected help or collaboration, and to acknowledge the gifts, friendships, or lucky breaks that present themselves. Imagine your world, step by step, becoming one where receiving well is as vital as giving generously. This openness creates a virtuous cycle, inviting greater prosperity, support, and gratitude into your life. To put this into practice, take on a 7-day abundance challenge. For 1 week, start every day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. Then look for a moment to be generous, whether it's giving your attention, knowledge, time, or encouragement. At day's end, record what unexpected opportunities, moods, or positive shifts showed up. Soon, you will witness evidence, big and small, that abundance is not just a dream, it's a mindset you can cultivate. By adopting this approach, you transform the energy you send into the world and organically invite more good back to you. Your relationships deepen, chances for progress multiply, and the feeling of always lacking will recede. Abundance attracts abundance because every action, thought, and moment of gratitude you create compounds. As you prepare for the final chapter, get ready to explore how to sustain this grateful way of living so it becomes a core part of your daily identity and a source of lasting fulfillment. Engage with the intentional prosperity community, share the evidence of abundance you encounter, suggest ways we can reconnect and grow richer together, and continue encouraging those traveling the same path into gratitude and genuine wealth. Chapter 12. Living the Grateful Way. What if gratitude could be the guiding principle that shapes every day, not just an occasional moment or fleeting mood? Imagine waking up with a sense of purpose that doesn't waver no matter what the day holds, where appreciation is so deeply woven into your habits, thoughts, and choices that it gently steers your actions, your responses to setbacks, and even your dreams for the future. So many people crave lasting fulfillment and a sense of meaning, yet settle for short-lived bursts of satisfaction that fade quickly, especially when old routines or daily stress threaten to take over. The promise of living with a grateful heart often stays trapped in pages of journals or hidden behind reminders that are easy to ignore when life gets overwhelming. This is a common struggle for anyone seeking personal growth and real change. Gratitude routines are started with energy, but abandoned when routines get broken or circumstances shift. Even the most motivated can feel frustrated when the kindness or optimism they pour out seems at odds with difficult moments or frustrating news. The world rarely pauses long enough for thankfulness to blossom quietly, and so the hopeful resolve to live gratefully can get worn down by demands, disappointments, or distractions. For many, gratitude fades into something occasional, a holiday tradition, a pleasant thought after a big win, or a self-care tip heard on a podcast but never truly made habit. The true challenge lies not just in feeling thankful, but in sustaining that feeling, allowing it to become a natural way of approaching the world, even on days that aren't going your way. The transformative solution lies in shifting gratitude from a temporary feeling into a living practice, a grateful way that infuses your entire identity and connects to your goals, values, and vision for the life you want to build. This isn't about perfect optimism or forcing cheerfulness despite hardship, but about making gratitude the steady undercurrent that supports you through every moment. When you consciously decide to let thankfulness guide your choices, small acts, from how you greet a challenge to how you celebrate a friend's success, shift from reaction to intention. You'll discover that real, sustainable gratitude isn't something you need to chase. It's cultivated through daily attention and mindful rituals that align with your authentic self. The core of this living gratitude is finding small, realistic ways to invite thankfulness into every interaction and intention. You might begin your day grounding yourself with appreciative thoughts about what's ahead and carry that awareness into the work you do, conversations you have, and the way you treat yourself. Instead of waiting for remarkable events, you learn to honor ordinary moments as worthy of celebration and reflection. The benefits compound over time. You act with more presence, your mind becomes calmer, and setbacks stop feeling like verdicts on your self-worth. Living the grateful way opens the door to deeper presence and resilience, allowing joy and satisfaction to endure even as circumstances change. By finding this rhythm, you lay the best foundation not only for wealth in a material sense, but for rich, genuine fulfillment every single day. To make gratitude a living, breathing part of daily life, identify 2 or 3 entry points where thankfulness can naturally anchor itself in your routine. Start your morning with an appreciative reflection before you reach for your phone, or spend a moment while brewing coffee, considering one thing you value about your life right now. During the day, pick a transitional moment, before a meeting, after a meal, or when moving from one task to another, to silently acknowledge a small victory, lesson, or simple comfort. Lastly, create a winding down ritual at night where you look back over your day to spot something that deserves recognition. These moments don't have to be dramatic or time-consuming. What matters is the consistency and authenticity of your intent. In practice, consider a teacher who writes a single note of gratitude to a student or colleague each week. Over months, she notices her own mood shift, resilient to stressful days, and her relationships become more positive and collaborative. Meanwhile, a self-employed person adapts his gratitude by using reminders on his phone to prompt quick, thankful thoughts 3 times each day. Over time, he finds decision-making easier and setbacks less threatening as he builds confidence from a steady awareness of everything that's already going well. Someone in a challenging season begins by simply jotting down 3 ordinary things in a bedside notebook. These small entries multiply, becoming a powerful record that lifts her spirits during inevitable rough patches. By tying gratitude directly to actions, transitions, and challenges, you create a flexible but unbreakable practice that can be trusted regardless of life's ups and downs. The rewards are deep and lasting: improved relationships, heightened creativity, new perspective in the face of adversity, and an enduring sense that your life, in all its complexity, holds continual opportunities for appreciation and growth. It becomes easier to help, forgive, celebrate, and lead with confidence, awakening a cycle where gratitude fuels achievement and achievement amplifies gratitude. Challenge yourself to consciously design this practice for a full month, tracking changes in mood, relationships, energy, and purpose. Invite feedback from those around you about the differences they notice as you embrace gratitude as your compass, not just an occasional exercise. Celebrate progress, however subtle, and remember that every effort plants a seed of abundance that can grow for years to come. Thank you for joining this journey of discovery and growth through the pages of gratitude's hidden path, How Thankfulness Leads to Wealth. May this practice nourish you in all circumstances and inspire those connected to you. As you move forward, we invite you to share your reflections and personal victories in the Intentional Prosperity community, helping others to stay motivated and expand the movement of grateful living. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay part of this thriving, supportive channel and to help spread the transformative power of gratitude even further. You have now explored the hidden path from gratitude to genuine wealth, journeying from awareness of everyday blessings to seeing past scarcity, transforming challenges, nurturing daily routines, and finding abundance in connection, giving, and self-renewal. Each lesson offers you the choice to anchor, express, and live thankfulness with intention, creating results that reach far beyond material success. By embracing these practical gratitude routines, you honor yourself, elevate those around you, and shape a life of resilience and purpose. Thank you for spending your valuable time with this book and for your dedication to cultivating a grateful and prosperous mindset. Please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to our Intentional Prosperity channel. Your engagement keeps this community alive and growing.